Beautiful SoFi Stadium is where the U.S. will play two of their three World Cup group stage games. Seattle will host the other one. If the Americans finish first in the group, they'll head to the San Francisco Bay Area for the round of 32. If they finish second, they head to Dallas. But the focus this summer is on getting their momentum back with a successful Gold Cup campaign, and that quest starts tomorrow as the states square off against Trinidad and Tobago. For the latest on the U.S. team, we make the journey north to San Jose. Here's Jenny Taft with the U.S. men's national team report, sponsored by Allstate.
As expected at the U.S. men's national team matchday -1 press conference in San Jose today, a lot of the questions were about a player who isn't here, Christian Pulisic. More specifically, Mauricio Pochettino addressed the comments from Christian saying that he hadn't spoken that often with his new head coach.
I love to be in communication with my players. I love to communicate, but in the same time, I want to keep that all the players feel the same respect from the coaching staff and from myself. If someone doesn't like this, okay, but it's we. We can win. We need to work together. We need to be all together. We. That sport is amazing because it's about we.
Mauricio Pochettino also addressed the four-game losing streak coming into the Gold Cup and said, although there has been noise, we are focused and we are learning. I also attended the first day of camp 13 days ago in Chicago, and his message to the players was clear. Show me why you deserve to be here, why you deserve to be on the roster when that World Cup rolls around a year from now. The time is now.
There's been noise. Are you aware of that, Landon? I hadn't heard of anything like that. Very interesting comments from Mauricio Pochettino today. Listen, much has been made of the U.S. players not with the program this summer, but that has created an opportunity window for players to catch the coach's eye. Who are some of those players that you have your eye on, Lex?
Well, you heard Pochettino tell Jenny that he wants to learn this summer. And I do think that there are opportunities to learn this summer. So I took three players. I tried to get an older player, a newer player, and then a player kind of in their prime. Let's start off with Matt Turner in goal. The position, there is a competition going on in goal right now, which a couple of years ago when Matt Turner was starting for the U.S. in the World Cup, I don't think you could have anticipated. But he has not been playing at the club level, and even when we have seen him, even in the last game with the national team, he's making mistakes. So this is a huge summer for him. It is his to lose, but he can lose it. All right. Then we go to a breath of fresh air, if you will. Diego Luna has kind of burst on the scene, all the grit and the skill, it has to be said. Rob Stone loves a bleeder. He loves someone that bleeds for his country, and this guy has already proven that he does that. And that speaks, I think, to Americans, not just American soccer fans out there, but to Americans. So it'll be interesting if he can parlay that into a trip to the World Cup.
You don't just have to bleed for me to like you, but it helps.
It has to be a part of it,
yes.
All right? Blood is only a part of what Rob Stone likes. And then Chris Richards. This guy's growing on me, okay? When he first jumped on the scene, I was like, I'm not buying it yet. But he has matured. Sometimes that happens with time, although it hasn't happened yet with my good friend Stu. But it does happen to players and to people out there. I think Chris Richards is really coming into his own in terms of the age that he is, where his mind is catching up with his body and his body is catching up with his mind.
Question marks in that center of the defensive park. Hopefully Richards can settle some of those questions this summer. Tuesday, the U.S., they started with 4 in the back. They conceded 4 goals in the first 36 minutes to Switzerland. What went sideways?
Yeah, I mean, a lot went sideways. Everything went sideways, to be honest. They started on back 4, and I don't think Pochettino even had the idea of moving to a back 3 until halftime. They were a little disconnected here. You can see, Stu, they get their communication's bad. And then on the second goal, we have Nathan Harriel highlighted here. If you're in a back 3, which was the second half, you can tuck all the way in and you don't have to worry about the guy behind you. You can see he's a step late to Abisher. Abisher gets a tap in. When you have a wing back next to you, you can deal with that. So you move to the second half, and they had to change something. So even when Tim Ream gets beat, you have enough cover where you can put out fires like this. And then in these moments where the ball comes into a striker, you can confidently step forward because you know you have cover behind you. So I will be curious to see. I don't think Mauricio Pochettino is going to start in a back 3, but it's something he has to think about if things don't go well early, Stu.
Yeah, it brings up something that you touched on a little bit earlier, and Mauricio Pochettino figuring out this player pool a little bit. And what he figured out quickly in that first half was, oh boy, I didn't pick the right lineup. I didn't have the right tactics. And so it's going to be interesting how he approaches this Gold Cup just in general. Look, the Gold Cup, as we talked about, is a springboard for players. It was for me in 2009, and in fact, has been for so many other players. You yourself, you talked about, Landon. Since 1993, every Gold Cup, the year before a World Cup, a player coming into that Gold Cup with less than 5 caps has been a part of the World Cup. And it just shows you that these are opportunities in these games for players to show that they can play at the biggest level in the biggest moments and that they can be a part of that team next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not here to spin you or gaslight you when it comes to this team. And the reality is that they've come in for some fair criticism, and unfortunately it's created kind of an apathy towards this team. But they have the opportunity this summer to kind of turn it in the right direction. And Pochettino, who's been paying a lot of money right now, he's got to fix this, and he's got to fix it now and through the next year. So either you step up or you step aside.
The opportunity to change that narrative starts tomorrow in San Jose, live on Fox as the U.S. takes on Trinidad and Tobago.